Hi, everybody, and welcome to Align's Daily Dose of Advice, our way of bringing you valuable insights and thought leadership from business experts from around the world on various topics that will hopefully help you and your business. My name is Eugene Turk, and I'm the VP of Business Development at Align, and my guest today is Andy Bailey. Andy is a serial entrepreneur, an author of a new book entitled Vitamin B for Business. He is a highly sought after speaker and a highly regarded business coach. Andy, thanks so much for joining me.
You bet. I was just adjusting my desk so I could stand up. You're standing up. I figured I'd stand up too.
Our focus today, Andy, is on how companies can continue executing during this time of unprecedented business disruption. These are obviously difficult times for many companies, and some can get caught in one of three modes. They either fight, flight, or freeze. So I was hoping that you could share some insights on what companies can do to try to continue to focus on executing some of those critical things that will hopefully keep their business moving forward as best as possible. I know that you're a big proponent of the start, stop, keep exercise, so I thought we'd just sort of jump in with that exercise. We'll start with stop first. During a time of crisis like this, what are some of the things that companies should stop doing? How do they best determine what isn't important right now so that they aren't wasting time, energy, and resources on things that aren't necessarily going to help them get through this?
It's a great question. Here at Petra Coach, one of the things that we've done in the last 10 days or whatever it's been is to segment our work into four categories. We're calling it DSRO. So defense, stabilize, reset, and offense. And you mentioned, fight or flight. And I think a lot of businesses and a lot of business leaders are living in the defense mode still. They're still playing defense. They're working towards, getting a little bit of stability in there. And I think these questions, I want to address them a little bit around these four categories: defense, stabilize, reset, and then play offense. Because we got to get to reset and offense as quickly as possible to continue business growth and create new stability. So I heard a quote. You asked about what we should stop. I heard a quote once that said, "I don't know the road to happiness, but I know the road to unhappiness is making everyone happy." And I think one of the things that we as leaders at this particular stage is we need to absolutely stop attempting to make everyone happy, because it's just going to make us miserable and slow our progress down. One of the things that I tell other leaders right now is be okay with being unpopular, because we need to move quickly. We need to make decisions. The second thing is stop hesitating. And I think, consensus building and investigation and trial and error and A and B testing and all those things that we were doing to make a right decision in the future, we're just going to have to make some decisions. We're going to have to test a lot of things. The Marines have an old kind of mantra of, if we have 70% of the information and 70% of the gut feel, we have to move, because if we waited for 100%, we would be dead. And I think that's pretty applicable. So, second thing might be stop hesitating. And then it's both a stop and a keep, but around cash, right? So cash is one of those things, and really it's cash flow, not necessarily cash, but there's a lot of things that we need to look at right now and skinny down in our businesses. I know we've done that internally. Is what are those things that we needed to turn off or stop that were really not adding value to much of anything, that were just kind of nice to haves. I've worked with companies for a decade now after selling my own business, and I find that there are a lot of sacred cows, especially from the leadership table. There are a lot of things in business that business pays for that are just nice, and they're nice for a few people. They're not nice for everyone. So one of the things to stop is to look at what are those things that are just kind of there, but do not add value to either the organization, the team member, or clients.
Great, and that's a nice segue into the keep part of the next question, which is, what are some things that companies should continue doing? What are the types of activities that companies should maintain despite this business interruption that is going to help them stay focused on short-term action items?
You're going to need to keep very close contact with your team. So you're going to, that in the past, I think leaders, including myself, I've been in a home office for 2 years. So this transition to work from home was very easy for me because this is where I work anyway. I never went into my office. I was there 6 days, full days, in the last 6 months. It's just not something I did. But I had spent more time in front of and with my team members in the last 10 to 14 days than I probably have in the last year. So
Virtually,
yes, virtually. Talking to them one-on-one, talking to them in huddles. We've gone to 2 daily huddles. Just the interaction. And what I mean by that is just you need to keep that closeness that you kind of created in the past, both with your team members and with your clients. If you're in sales, you need to be talking to your clients. And I don't mean sending them emails. Believe me, they're getting enough COVID-19 stuff in their inbox right now. You need to be on the phone, talking to them and building those relationships. Whatever pattern you had talking to your clients in the past, if it was contact them once a month, you need to be contacting them once a week. So you got to keep close contact to those people that are critical to your business success. And then I was reminded when you asked this question, if you remember The Jerk, the Steve Martin movie, where he's running around at the gas station and he's like, all I need is this. And, all I need is this. All I need is this. I think we all kind of left our worlds. And I went by the office the other day and I was kind of reminded of this. We just kind of grabbed what we needed and we left, right? And we've been able to put together a pretty good business with the things that we needed right there, right? And what we left behind, we may not need. So it's a little bit like cleaning out the closet. You make some decisions of, I haven't worn this in a year and a half. Do I need to actually keep it? There's a lot of people right now that are working to decide and thinking about, do I really need an actual office? Do I need a conference room table? Do I need, the things that I have that I left behind? So think about what you're operating with today. Could you operate with that in the future? Do you need to go back to what you had in the past? Do I really need to keep those things in my life? And then the last one I think is really important, and is your team. So we went from 3.3 million to 6.6 million laid off workers. Everybody's talking furloughs and layoffs, and we have the PPP packages through CARES Act, and we're getting some funding now to keep people for 2.5 months. My comment would be, we just went through one of the hardest hiring periods in history. We fought like hell to find the best talent in our markets. And then we put institutional knowledge into their brains and their hearts. It can't be the first place that we look to cut. We need to look at how could we keep those key team members, those ones that are adding value to our businesses in the future. Because you do not, as an organization, want to end up through this on the other side and have to go rebuild a team. And
those are your most valuable assets right now.
Totally. And it's the first one. It's usually the biggest line on the P&L where people are going, yeah, we got to start letting some people go. There are other ways to do that. And I would just ask you to consider keeping your team members.
What are some of the best habits that companies should start implementing in order to help them focus on getting things done right now? New things, new habits, new actions.
Plan like you never planned before, right? So, this is a moment in time where things shift and change incredibly rapidly, externally and internally, but you got to plan like you've never planned before. So put smart people around you. I also believe that most leaders right now are in a bit of a fog, meaning they're not making good decisions. My friend Mike Maddock has this saying. He says, you can't read the label when you're inside the jar. And you think about, we are all in our businesses. What we're not good at is making a decision. We can't read from the outside or see things because we're in it right now. And then when we get in these incredibly chaotic situations, we have a tendency to have a fog around us that doesn't allow us to think clearly. So start getting yourself with people around you that will be brutally honest and can see things, your blind spots, and can give you ideas that you can't think of on your own. So find yourself a group of business leaders, find yourself some group of people or individuals that you can just talk about stuff with. I mentioned daily huddles. If you're not doing those, you need to be doing those. I know Align has the platform for that, and we use it every single day. We're running 2 daily huddles now. Our morning traditional daily huddle, which is an extended time period. It used to be 15 minutes. It probably goes anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour now just for updates. And then we run a second huddle at 5 p.m. The second huddle has become, in the beginning of all this, it was very informational. It has become good news sharing. So people just show up and say, what happened good today? And we end our day kind of on that. Communication is something we got to start. And when I say communication, video has become like a cornerstone of our existence these days. We're on video right now. Everybody has a video production studio in their back pocket, and you should put it to good use. I keep on my desk this little tripod, and I have a note here on my desk that says vids to people. So our team, and myself included, we record 5 little videos, 30 seconds to a minute, to 5 different people every day, and we just text them. Sometimes that's, hey, Eugene, thanks for doing a great job on that project, or, hey, Eugene, I'm thinking about you right now. I know things are tough, or whatever the message may be. But utilizing video to communicate with people. If you're the leader or CEO of your organization, and I've had this conversation a bunch this week with people, stop sending people emails. Pick up your phone, give them your message on video. I know it's uncomfortable, but get used to it. You're going to be doing this shit forever in the future. So get used to giving your team messages on video. They will respond much better to you. It's actually a biological fact. And then lastly would be, I had a really tough conversation with a CEO last week, where they were, in my opinion, going to do some things that would actually put their family in harm to save their business. And I gave them my thinking process around situations like this. And my thinking process is a lens at which I make decisions. And the lens is simply myself and my family, right? So is it good for myself and good for my family? And then is it good for my team members, the people inside that work inside of the organization? And then is it good for the business? And sometimes what's good for the business is good for the team members, and sometimes it's not. So team members, business, right? Clients and customers, and then community. So I gotta make my decisions based on, worst case scenario, I gotta take care of this first. And then it's my kind of duty to take care of this. And then it's my duty to take care of this. And then I can move to everything else. And I think that was very helpful. So start using some of those tools. Make sure that you're doing your planning, daily huddles, repeated communication, use video anytime that you possibly can, and use that lens for a little bit of decision making.
Some really great advice. Question number 4 is really sort of an action item. So I know that you, in your coaching practice, encourage all of your clients to do something called a top daily task or top priority of the day. For those who are not familiar with that concept, could you just briefly explain it and sort of how does that particular concept or exercise in terms of asking your employees to commit to a daily priority or action item help a company maintain a culture of execution?
Yeah, I think, it's interesting because I've experienced this more recently than in the past. Because we had an office in the past, and because people had offices in the past, and you had kind of like managers or supervisors, you really didn't think a whole lot about what the hell are people actually doing right now. And now that we've gone to work from home, and we really don't have any idea what people are doing. Like, we might talk to them a few times a day, but it's hard to keep that up. And I think the daily top priority process is very important. It was always important. A lot of these things that we're learning how to do now, we should have been doing all along. Really important now. So the idea and the concept is every single person, they should already have a set of priorities they're working on for either a 30-day, 60-day, or 90-day period of time, these big chunky projecty things. And not just reacting to the moment, but things that they're doing to move a business forward. And then daily, you're looking at what's one thing that I need to do today to move one of those big, chunky, very important things forward. Then you have to say it in a very specific manner. So what would success look like at the end of the day? So it wouldn't be, I've got a phone call with Eugene to see if he wants to buy something. My priority might be, I'm going to get Eugene's commitment in writing to purchase something. Now, I may be able to control that. I may not be able to control that, but I've got a higher odds of getting it done if I say it in a way that of the outcome that I want. It also gives your team members a feeling of productivity. And I think team members right now are just kind of lost. They don't know how to feel productivity. They feel busy maybe, but not the productivity side. So creating a list for with them and them committing to it and them being able to check it off, they can see what they're doing that's productive, and you kind of know what's going on in your world as well.
Final question, and one that we ask everyone who joins us on these daily doses of advice. What is the number one piece of advice that you are giving your clients right now?
Yeah. When you say right now, I'm going to talk about in this very instance right now. I believe the next major health crisis that we're going to have in the world is mental health. And you're already starting to see it. I've had team members, I call it fracturing. The stress gets to them. I had a day this week that was really, really difficult. I've had one phone call so far where I've had to get somebody to a suicide hotline. And I fully anticipate more. So my advice would be, make sure as a leader in your business or supervisor or manager or even a team member that you are figuring out ways to, number one, protect the mental health of yourself and protect the mental health of your team members. And that may be as simple as, eating well, getting sleep, taking breaks throughout the day, getting into meditation, not necessarily, hugging people, but being social. So doing stuff like this, we're kind of, we're distanced, but we can be social at the same time. So we have to make sure, because this is not something that's going to go away anytime real soon. And we're only starting to see the effects of it. So biggest piece of advice that I'm giving right now is there's some really bad things that are coming from this, and we need to make sure we're protecting ourselves and our people with our mental health.
Andy, thank you so much for sharing your insights with us today. For those of us that would like to learn more about Andy and his coaching organization, please check out petracoach.com. And for those that would like to learn more about Align or the Scaling Up Scoreboard software, please check out aligntoday.com or scalingup.com/software. And we hope that you will join us next time. Till then, thank you so much, and I hope you make it a great day.
Thanks, brother. Always good to see you.